How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Growing Groceries. I'm Tanya. Today I'm going to be going over the cost of starting your first garden. So if you don't have anything going right now, got nothing in the ground, didn't produce any of your own food last year, that's fine, because this year you can change all of that. It's really not that difficult, and the cost of starting it is actually not that bad. Now, it's easy to get carried away, start buying the most expensive pots and decorative planters and raised garden beds and all this. It can get expensive really quick. Now I'm going to show you how to do it for $50 to start bringing groceries from your backyard into your kitchen. All right, so the first thing you're going to need to buy is obviously seeds. Can't grow anything without seeds. So I based my prices off of a website called Seeds and Such. I'll post a link to their website below. I'm not affiliated with them at all. It's just who I've used, one of the places I used this year. And I think they're pretty comparable price-wise, but feel free to look around. You can also buy all of the things I'm going to talk about today at a local box store. And Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, pretty much any of those. So I'm suggesting for your first garden that you don't go crazy. You know, start kind of small. You don't want to get overwhelmed with this. So if you're going to start a garden this year, I'd suggest you start with maybe 4 types of plants. You could do more than one of each of those plants, but I'd say keep it pretty simple. And so the 4 plants I chose to base this video off of today is tomatoes, onion, sweet basil, and carrots. Reason being that these 4 companion plant really well together. The basil helps repel the tomato hornworms from your tomatoes. The onions help repel the white carrot flies from your carrots. They just all go well together. Not to mention, you know, basil, onion, and tomatoes. That's 3 of the main ingredients in spaghetti sauce or pizza sauce or a lot of different things you're gonna make, or you can make, and you can and preserve for the winter. So based off of that information, going on Seeds and Such, I found that you can get a packet of each of these for $4. Okay, so the tomato packet, that comes with 25 to 30 seeds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but keep in mind, tomatoes, they're a very prolific grower. So off of one plant, you're gonna get a good amount of tomatoes. You're not gonna wanna plant 25 tomato plants in one year, so you'll have it for years to come. For next year too. The carrots, you're gonna get 800 seeds for $4. That's a ton of carrots. Now obviously your germination rate is not gonna be 100%, but it's pretty darn good, and you're gonna get a lot of food, plenty for the year. I mean, I don't know how big your family is, but I have a family of 5. Number 6 is on the way, and I plan to grow enough carrots to last our family the year, and 800 is more than enough to do that. You've also got the onion. Onion, you get 200 seeds, and I went off of the candy hybrid variety, and 200 seeds, that's a ton of onions. That should be, you know, plenty. I'm gonna be able to save seeds for next year as well. And then the sweet basil is also 200 seeds for $4. So you're getting a lot of seeds for 16 bucks. So that's the first thing you need. Second thing you need is obviously soil, right? Well, most of us have a backyard or a front yard with soil that you can use, and you can plant straight in that. But for starting seeds and for carrots, you're gonna wanna have something really loose dirt, really good soil. Carrots can't just go straight into the ground. If you have rocks or clay soil, like I'm in Missouri, we have clay. It just doesn't work very well. So I like to do my carrots with potting soil, and I like to do all of my seeds. You're gonna have to start your seeds in something like this. This is just what I happen to have on hand right now, but there's all kinds of different varieties. I do suggest you go with organic. I mean, I got what was available because it's kind of out of season right now. But this is 1.5 cubic feet of soil, and it costs $10. So it's not bad. And to start four different types of plants, even doing multiple plants of each, I'd say 2 bags of that is going to be plenty to get you started. All right, so that's $20 right there. And lastly, you're gonna need some tools, right? And I would say you don't need anything fancy. I mean, we're not talking about farming here, you know. You're doing a little home garden, a little set with just a few tools in it. I'm missing my shovel right now because my kids, but parents out there, you know what I'm talking about. A small set like this is at Lowe's for $12. It's nothing expensive, right? So altogether, we're at less than 50 bucks to start bringing home groceries from your backyard straight to your kitchen. Organic, you grew them, you know they were taken care of, you know there aren't pesticides on them. That's priceless right there. Not to mention the amount of money you can save on groceries just by growing it yourself is amazing. It really is. I started with a very small garden. I had 3 little planter boxes my brother made for me for my birthday, 2 foot by 2 foot, and that's what I started in. It doesn't need to be big. My first garden was small, and it's good because even with it being small, I did find some things were a little overwhelming. I had a big problem with bunny rabbits. Just completely destroyed some of my fruit, and like my strawberries. My German Shepherd apparently loves tomatoes. I learned that. You know, you learn these things throughout the first year, and you're not going to get the biggest harvest of your life that first year, but that's fine, because any amount of time and effort you put into it, you're going to get back. It's such a rewarding hobby, and it really can benefit your family greatly. Now, that first year is really going to be setting you up for the future, because after that, in the next year, you probably have seeds left over. Your soil's still good, right? You're going to want to rotate your crops so that they don't completely deplete the soil, but as long as you rotate your crops and you plant accordingly, your future costs go way down, right? You don't have to buy the tools again. You don't have to buy the soil again. If you want to make it bigger, sure, you can definitely add on to it, but it's an investment, and it's not a big one at that. So I've got some tips and tricks that I'm going to go over for how to save money doing your garden. It's easy to get carried away. It's easy to buy the prettiest pot that you found at Home Depot. It's 50 bucks and it looks great, and oh, wouldn't a blueberry bush look great in that? Sure. Yeah, okay. Or you can use what you have on hand. And that's the biggest thing. Use what you already have available to you. You can grow straight into the ground. If you don't want to do that, you want to have a raised bed, maybe to make it more comfortable while you're gardening, or because you're worried about what you have in the soil and you just don't want to mess with what's already there, that's fine. You can use a 5-gallon bucket that you have lying around the house. But make sure it's a food grade one. Like this is a drywall mud bucket. I wouldn't use that, but it's what I happen to have here right now. Use totes. These things, this is like, you could get one brand new at Walmart for $5. They're not expensive. Or you could use one you have lying around. I ended up using like 10 of these last year, and I had found every one of them for free. And I used them, made raised beds. Stuff grows great in here. I grew all of my cucumbers in there. I grew cantaloupe in there. This year I'm going to be doing all of my carrots in totes because I want to rotate them from where I had them last year, and I like to do the carrots, like I said, raised because of the clay soil, and I have a lot of rocks. So they work great, and they're super cheap and or free. Like I said, I mean, you can get them. Basically, if you ask your family and friends if anybody has a tote they don't want, you're probably going to find some, right? So let's talk tomato steaks. You don't have to go buy a tomato cage. You don't have to buy tomato steaks. They're not that expensive, but you don't have to buy them. I use wood. It can be a 1x1 that I have left over in my garage. Last year I used exclusively sturdy sticks that I had in my yard. Cutting down a tree, get a nice stick that's sturdy, use it as a tomato stake, and then I just used twine that I had left over. It's completely free and worked perfectly, no issues. All right, there's a million ways to do it without spending money. If you're looking for another way to plant stuff, you can use an empty feed bag from your chicken feed or even dog food bags. When it's empty, you can cut it or roll the top down so it's, yay tall, and fill it with soil. It's that easy, and it can be completely free. The soil, yes, I buy some soil, but most of my compost, I make my compost myself, right? It's free. I use my kitchen scraps, I use yard waste, grass clippings, sawdust, dried leaves. I throw it all in my compost bin, I turn it, and a year later I've got all this free compost. I know exactly what's in it because it came from my house. I collect all my friends' pumpkins and gourds after Halloween, and I use that. It's free. Why would you not? All right, the next tip I have for you is to grow from seed. I know I mentioned earlier that to start a garden I'd buy these 4 types of seeds. Well, there's a reason I don't buy starter plants. You'll see them in the spring at every big store you go to, and they're cute and they look like fun, and it makes you want to go plant something. But for $4 or $5, you get one little plant. It may or may not produce, it depends. I've killed plenty of them when I was a new gardener, transferring them to the soil and not doing it right. But I got one plant. I got one shot at it for $4 or $5. Instead, I buy a packet of seeds, and I have, with the tomatoes, 25 to 30 seeds. I can start a lot more plants. You get a much bigger return on your investment. Not to mention I can save seeds for next year. Way more selection. Right? You start from plants, you get like one to choose from when you go to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever. There's gonna be one variety. When it's tomatoes, you're gonna have the beefsteak tomatoes, and then you'll have cherry tomatoes. So 2 options. As to where if you go to one of these websites, you have like an endless number of options. There's every kind of variety that you could imagine in here, and you can pick unique stuff you'll never see. I have tomatoes this year that are pink. Why? Because I thought it would entertain my daughter. I have 2 daughters that one of them is very big on pink, so I just thought it'd be fun to grow them for her. Really, that's probably going to be one of her plants that she needs to take care of because she's going to like it. She doesn't even like eating tomatoes, but they're pink, so she'll enjoy it. It's really just so many more options. Now, if you buy your seeds from one of the online websites like Seeds and such, there are going to be additional considerations such as shipping. I didn't include shipping because it depends entirely on where you buy it from, where you're shipping it to, and how much you spend on that website as to whether or not you're going to get free shipping, or whether the shipping is going to be $8 or whatever it might be. Now, you can buy all of these types of plants at a grocery store, box store, get the seeds there. That's totally fine. Like I said, you won't get as much to choose from. You won't get as many varieties, but that's fine. It'll still grow groceries, and that's the whole point. So eventually you're gonna get like me, where you can't wait until you get the catalog and you can look at all the crazy varieties and you can pick out what you're gonna do that year, and you have friends come over and you can't wait to show them your garden, to show them the crazy plants you've got going and all of the groceries that you have growing in your own backyard. But for your first year, there's nothing wrong with just picking out some simple basic seeds at the store. It is all food, and it is all going to benefit you and your family. Now, I already talked about companion planting. I think it's really important. It helps prevent you from having to buy pesticides to try and prevent these bugs from coming around and eating what you're growing. Instead, you've got other plants that naturally repel those. A lot of times you're going to avoid any issues and any need for pesticide whatsoever. Also, the final tip I have for you is to preserve your surplus. I'm talking canning, dehydrating, freezing. Save it for use in the winter. Save it for use well after the harvest. Anything extra you have, save. It makes all of it so much more, it helps you out so much more financially as far as return on your investment. Not to mention you have delicious, healthy, organic produce straight from your garden to last you and your family over the winter. That's huge. It's such a motivation going into the next season too, as it makes all the difference. If you know, last year I did really great with carrots. I have all these carrots and they've lasted us almost all year, almost to the time where it's ready to start planting carrot seeds again. That's such a motivation to me. Like, I'm gonna plant 3 times as many carrots because I want to have extra to freeze, I want to have extra for my family to eat fresh, and I want to have extra to go to family and friends. I want to be able to give food to my neighbors and to my loved ones to help provide groceries for them, because why not? I'm gonna be growing 200 anyway, you know, I might as well help out everyone I can. So make sure you have a plan in place for how you're going to preserve your extras. You're going to freeze them? Great. Are you going to can them? Fantastic. Are you going to dehydrate? Wonderful. Whatever works best for you, and it might be a combination of all three, and that's totally fine. But the main thing is, don't let anything go to waste. Yeah, if you have plants that produce fruit and you're picking it and you see, oh well, this raspberry or strawberry or whatever has it has a bug inside it. Oh, that's gross. I don't want to eat it. So I throw it to my chickens. It's still not wasting it. They're going to eat it. They're going to be happy. And if you don't have chickens or dogs that you can feed it to, that's totally fine too. At the very least, throw it in your compost bin. And then you can use it next year as soil. You know, it doesn't waste it. Use everything. Waste not, want not. And I think if you use any of these tips and tricks, if you follow my plan and for $50 you start your own garden, you're going to be thankful. You're going to be so happy you did. Your family's going to be happy you did. And next year you're going to want to double it or triple it. You know, don't overwhelm yourself right off the bat. Do what you feel is right for you and your family. But we all know groceries are only getting more expensive. Not to mention going to the store and finding that they don't have a lot of groceries to pick from. It's a lot of encouragement to get out there and to start doing something about it yourself, you know, providing for your family the way all of our ancestors used to. They didn't used to go to the grocery store to get everything they needed for their meals. They go to their backyard, they get their tomatoes back there, a watermelon, whatever it is they need. You know, they grew it themselves. They were self-sufficient, and we lost that somewhere along the way. But I think it's the time to get back to it. That's my personal opinion, because I got a lot of kids to feed and they snack constantly, so I got to keep up with that, you know what I mean? But thank you for watching. If this was helpful, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Next week I'm going to be doing a video on the cost, the true cost of setting up chickens in your own backyard. I have a chicken coop with 7 chickens laying eggs for my family right now, and I'm going to be probably doubling the size of my flock this coming spring. But I have all of the numbers of exactly what I spent. I'll show you my setup and exactly how long it takes to recoup that money on your eggs. Eggs are getting more expensive, so it's a good time to look into it. Anyways, thank you. Please hit the subscribe button. You can hit the notification bell so you know when that video drops, and I will see you next time. Bye.